You're listening to Money in the Hands of Conscious Women podcast. In this show, I show you how women all over the world manifest money in their life and create more impact. We talk about financial equality, magnetizing more money and abundance, expansion, building empires, destroying codependency. We also talk about building authentic, blissful relationships as ambitious women. We speak about real empowerment, expansive living, and of course, normalizing money in the hands of conscious women. We redefine feminine wealth, and we also claim the creation of conscious legacy. I'm interviewing women who have mastered and harnessed the energy of money in a conscious way. As an entrepreneur with more than a decade of experience in business and leadership mentoring, I have helped thousands of women to claim their financial freedom without sacrificing their mental health. I have done it myself, and so can you. Hello, everybody. Today we are having a very special guest, my friend and the person who I admire so much, Katja. And today we have a very special conversation about wealth, conscious wealth, and just allowing ourselves to look at women receiving wealth, creating a new earth where we see money and receiving and being a true leader in a different form. But without any further delay, I want to introduce to you this beautiful, beautiful goddess next to me. Katja, would you share more about you?
Ayo, thank you so much for this super sweet and lovely introduction. Yes, I'm Katja. I am from Germany, and I am the owner of the Karma business, mentoring, and what I do is connecting and building connection between high ticket and high prices with that and the higher self. So, and I give lots of high fives. So I'm all about the high thing.
I love that.
So this is what I do and what I love, and talking about money and talking about the money energy and attracting money, creating money, allowing money, whatever that is. So yes, this is what I've been doing for over a decade now.
And I love how you do it. You do it in a very direct way. You do implement energetics and the woo-woo conversation, but in a very grounded way that sounds like no bullshit, extremely direct, extremely to the point. And that's why I wanted to bring you here, because I love how you master masculinity and femininity and the polarities of that, and how you bring higher self and higher consciousness and conscious wealth. This podcast is called Money in the Hands of Conscious Women. So we are creating this new reality of receiving money in a healthy, conscious way. So I want to ask you, when it comes to wealth creation and women, what is the number one thing that you think right now is kind of preventing women to truly allow these high ticket clients? There's so much conversation out there. There's so many mentors teaching different things. But I truly believe that we have the possibility to create anything that we want to create. And yet sometimes we do see some women being more advanced in the way that they receive business, the way they receive this high caliber client. What is the number one thing that in your personal experience you feel like this is the thing that really disconnects that dance and play?
Yeah, I think you're right. There are several ways of approaching this whole topic. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, or I'm convinced that there are several layers to it
Mm-hmm.
that you might want to unpeel.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that women have learned over the decades and over the centuries
Mm-hmm.
to get along really nicely and just fine with
Mm-hmm.
being very modest. And they get along
Mm-hmm.
with so much less than
Mm-hmm.
actually necessary in order to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because we can. And we have internalized this that we don't need anything. We're fine with the little things. I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy when I see the butterfly. I'm happy when I see the waves. When I listen to Mozart and Beethoven, I'm happy. The little things,
Mm-hmm.
which is great, but the women have really internalized that this is all you need to be happy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So if you are fine with that, you already have this energy of, I don't need anything, which is
Mm.
great. I don't need anything, but they don't allow themselves anymore to want and to
Mm-hmm.
take
Mm-hmm.
because they're always so giving and giving and giving. And the polarity of giving and taking, the balance is
Mm-hmm.
missing.
Mm.
So when we learn to take and when we learn to accept and to cherish the taking, then things start to change quite a bit. And
Mm-hmm.
when I started working on money mindset and money for women in general,
Mm-hmm.
with my clients, I had this little game or this little challenge. And I said, okay, give me your highest price that you're charging
Mm.
and put a zero to it.
Yeah.
And then feel what comes up. Imagine I would force you to put a zero to add a zero to your price,
Look at
and
my
you
face.
had to go out with that and
Yes.
feel what that does to you. Like, oh,
Mm.
this is too high, no one's going to buy anymore, they're going to make fun of me, that
Mm.
I'm going to be ridiculed, I'm going to be criticized, all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Then nobody's going to take me serious any longer. And then when those sentences come up, you can start to really work on that. Where do these sentences come from? Whose are they? Who said
Mm-hmm.
those sentences? Where did you hear them? Could be a movie. And also,
Yeah.
what is going to happen when you decide to be the most expensive option on the market?
Mm-hmm.
So this is where all of that starts, the whole conversation, and allowing someone to approach you who
Mm.
is willing to give you way more than you have ever spent yourself.
Mm.
So that there's a lot of energy happening, there's a lot of friction, and really there's heat coming up.
Mm-hmm.
People are saying getting really hot. Oh, I don't know how to handle that.
Yes.
And this is where it gets really, really scrumptious.
I love what you said, especially. I love all of it. The part where you said women are made to believe that they are okay with, oh, the butterflies, oh, this, oh, yeah, yeah, this. And this reminds me of conversations that I have with women who are already six-figure earners and they want to shift to 7, 8 figures. The conversation that we have, and they're very, very vulnerable in these conversations when they say, you know what, Ayo, and I'm almost going to quote, you know what, Ayo, when I want more women, so for example, they had a six-figure month, and they're saying, but I want more and I'm ashamed because I already made $100,000 or $200,000 this month, but I actually want more. But I'm ashamed to somehow want, I'm ashamed in front of the universe and I'm ashamed in front of people because I don't want to come across as not being grateful. And I've been there personally in my journey when
Of course.
I will think to myself, so for example, I do admit very often that there has been times when I will look at where I am, I'll be proud, but I'll be like, but I want to go higher. And I will share it with people who are not on
Mm-hmm.
that level. And they will tell me, Oh, but yeah, look how much money you're making. You should be happy. Other people are not making like close to that. You make what people will make in 20 years and you make it in like 1 year. And I feel this is very toxic. And it's horrible.
The thing is, when you set up your business is there. And I'm going to talk karma business right now. The first rule in karma business is your business is there or shall serve you to make money joyfully. So if your first goal is not to make money, there's no point of calling it a business. Then it's a lucrative hobby maybe, but it's not a business. So the business part is about money, and people really have to internalize that and integrate it. And when you then say, what, I actually like making money, it feels good when I'm getting paid. This exchange of money energy really feels good. It's the same as if you would tell someone who loves horse riding or any other sport, dancing. When you tell this person, you know what, but you did dance yesterday, why do you want to do it again?
Wow, what a great comparison.
Exactly. But it's,
I love it.
You feel something. It makes you feel something. It makes you feel something. There's something happening in your body when you receive money from another person.
With the dancing part? Can I quote you with the dancing part?
Yeah,
I want to
sure.
use it in my personal life. Next time when I say that I want to make more money and people are coming with their opinion, I want to use this part. It was just amazing. Like, I went to the gym yesterday. I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
And that's exactly it. And this is what people always oversee, that it's energy and it's fun, and money is fun, because money itself has no use at all. What do you want to do with money unless you transform it into something fun, right? And if you want to transform it into something that you like doing or like eating or like whatever. So money is energy, and it has exactly the energy that you put into it, and it has exactly the energy that you transform it with.
I definitely agree with you on that. And you know what I love what you said, and this is one thing I love about your approach, is that you really blend energetics with strategy as well. I mean, you just said, hey, it's okay to create a business, but if it's not going to be lucrative and making money, then it's not really a business. And I do feel that right now, with so much spirituality, it is a little bit skewed. I do believe in the balance between the two, of creating a very conscious spiritual business, using your higher self, and also knowing that it is okay for your business to make money, and your business actually has to make money. And if your business is not making money, we have a problem.
Not a business.
We don't have a business.
You don't have a business, you have a problem. Exactly, that is it. Because if you want to do something without getting money for it, then it's an NGO. Then it's called charity, and that's awesome. And you can combine both. You can make big money with your business, and you can strive for that. And at the same time, you can take that money or part of that money and do awesome things on a charity level. So you can always combine it. And for me, it's always about a combination of these various facets of life and various factors of life: masculine, feminine, rich, giving, taking, all of that. It is one energy, really. And we can't say, oh, we are all one. Everything is one. We are all in this together, and we are the universe, except for money. That's out there. That's not working.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. And we are entering a stage, and this is one of my main purposes. This is what really lines me up, is changing the narrative around money and removing the stigma around money, removing this negative print around money. And to be honest with you, I personally thought, when I got into this industry, I personally thought that we're seeing a shift, and we do see a shift for sure, but it's still very out there. A lot of my clients, a lot of even comments before we started this conversation, I shared with you that I did this cheeky post in one of the biggest women entrepreneur groups. Do you want to be a millionaire? And women were so negative. They were so negative. They were saying, why would I need to be a millionaire? I want to be healthy, or I want to be happy, or I want to have a family, or and again, there's nothing wrong with not wanting to be a millionaire. But why do we have to say, no, because I want to be this? Why not both? So why do you think this is
Yes.
still there when we see so many examples of successful women? Why is it
And
still so
also,
deeply in us?
it's also separating very often, that people say, okay, but when my priority is my family and my health, then my priority cannot be earning money or making money, which is not true, because your health is very much dependent on how wealthy you are and
100%.
how much you can invest in yourself and in your health. And also, if you have to go to or undergo surgery, for example, it is a very nice thing to have the hospital you choose. And even if it's a private hospital, a private clinic, or if you have other issues, when you have the possibility to choose. And that is the case when you make enough money and you can just, you don't have to ask your bank account for it, but you ask yourself, what do I want? And I think this is also something that women really can learn now, please, to just allow themselves to be good and good enough and to deserve it and to go for the best there is. And that doesn't make them greedy, because women don't want it all for themselves. They don't want it all for themselves. They love to share, So it's not about greediness. It's about, okay, I just want to have part of that cake and let that cake be huge so everybody can have fun with me. That's the vibe about it.
I totally agree with you, because I do believe when we create wealth for ourselves, we create it for everybody around us. And I was listening, I can't quote who I was listening to. Maybe I will remember and I will put it somewhere in the description. But I was listening to an expert in manifestation, and they were saying that you truly master conscious manifestation when you're not only manifesting an expensive bag or a car or a house for yourself, when you manifest for everybody around you. Now, I want to jump in here and say there's nothing wrong with manifesting for yourself only. So there's another stigma that I want us to destroy, that there's nothing wrong wanting things only from yourself. I do get a lot of women who come to me and they're like, I want to make a lot of money because I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this for other people. And I'm like, so what are you doing for you first? Why do we need
You have to start with you. You have to start with yourself. And if you don't allow that, there is really something crooked that needs to be set straight. Because, when you have this little bowl, and this bowl is to be filled with love, and you fill love in it, make sure it overflows. And then there's a lot of love going into the universe and to all the other places. But if you hold your container low with love, with self-love, then it's not going to overflow. You're always going to make sure that that you're going to be paid back, that there are people going to say thank you for what you do. It's not out of your abundance. No. It's very calculating when you are giving without giving yourself. And lots of people don't want to admit that because it's painful. But there is ways to navigate through that old pattern, through that old paradigm that giving is holy and taking is not. And the balance is what the spiritual essence is all about.
And I think this is one of the biggest lessons that we collectively as women experience, not to overly give. I think we're stepping into another era of being very conscious of how we give, because I do believe that very often we do overgive, and sometimes we don't like overgiving. Like, we do understand deep inside of us, we're like, oh, that wasn't nice. Whether if it's with clients, whether if it's with a partner, when you just overgive and give and give and give, whether if it's with someone else and you do feel robbed. And then 5 years later, you're like, oh, actually, I didn't want to do that. Well, why did you do it in the first place? What was behind it?
Exactly. And I think there's so much healing to do and in front of us, because it is really on a DNA level, and it's really on a cellular level that all the ancient patterns have come up or coming up, and we can really question those. And the thing is, karma is being created and formed by your true intention. And karma doesn't judge intentions. It's the people who do. And karma is just a reflection of your intention. So if your intention is pure, and when you say, you know what, I guess I want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I want to make so much money that I don't even know how much I have. And I don't ever want to worry about it. That is a very true and healthy way of approaching it, because karma is not going to judge you for that.
Exactly.
That's your intention. You will get opportunities to go. You go. And if you say, okay, I get the opportunity to go for it now, but I don't want to, because I don't like, because it might be uncomfortable, or it might be a little icky, or it might feel weird, that's a different topic. But the intention itself, it's not being judged.
I love how we're destroying so many stereotypes in this conversation around money and wealth. I want to continue doing that, because I do know that you're very good with that and you're very honest. I want us to have conversations around now all the misconception and all the misunderstandings around high ticket clients, because this is such a hot topic, and you're a genius, you're brilliant when it comes to that. My pleasure, absolutely. And also, there's so much BS out there. I do see it, and I call it out every time when I see it. But I want us to have a conversation around, what do high ticket clients want? What are they attracted to? Because there's so much, like, I don't even want to get there, but what do high clients get really pulled and attracted in? When we speak about high ticket clients, maybe you can speak about numbers, because I do feel like people don't even understand the numbers around high ticket.
Because high ticket is a term in the coaching industry that is very familiar in the coaching industry, but I guess that people who work in other industries don't necessarily know what high ticket means. So it means that you get a high quality service and product for pretty high prices. So let's say Chanel is high ticket. You get a high quality for high prices. And there are, of course, several layers and several levels. And you just have to choose what kind of positioning you desire with your service, because you can, of course, buy a bag at H&M or at another a fashion chain, but you can also buy a bag at Louis Vuitton or Hermes. It's still a bag, it's just a matter of price. And that's exactly the same with high ticket coaching and mentoring. It's coaching, it's mentoring, but you have your price. And people think that only because you take 15,000 or 20,000 for 4 weeks, 8 weeks, or 3 months, that you are going to transform into a wizard or a sorcerer. No, that's not going to happen. It's still your craft. It's still your business. It's still your job. And what happens is you have a question and you get the question answered. So that's what's happening. And the questions vary, of course, with the level of income the women have, because they, in order to get to a certain income, you had to overcome a few things. So their level of consciousness is normally pretty high. And of course, their questions are on a different level. And it's, when you are going into high ticket coaching and mentoring, you better be able to give answers to those questions, or you get ideas or impulses that you can share. But it's not that, okay, you have your program, your container, people pay you 30,000 for it, and they get their return on investment within 8 weeks. and that's guaranteed. No, it's not. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
It's a price. It's not a promise, it's a price.
Oh,
And
that's
that's what you
great.
need to
It's
know.
not a promise, it's a price.
Absolutely not. It's a price. A promise sounds different. When I make promises, that sounds very different. I never use numbers in promises.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you
So
can.
absolutely you
Really, in our
can't.
industry, it's very difficult to do that because we are working around transformation, which transformation is not linear and it's not fixed, and it's not like
Yeah.
you're going to your waxing person to wax you off, and then you're like, oh, it's gone, it's not there anymore. It's very different.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I sometimes have visions, and when I get a number, I made the mistake twice that I spoke out the number what I saw for my client, and she didn't get it. Now in hindsight, I know why. I know why she didn't get that, but she was furious.
I
She
can
was
imagine.
furious. And that was my mistake. I should have just, kept quiet. I saw it, but that doesn't matter. If she is not willing to put that very work into it, or if she is copying others or me, hoping that it
Wow.
works exactly the same, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. But I
But
learned from that.
here's with that, just to, it's not like I'm defending you or anything, because you don't need to be defended. But what I know with visions and what I know with foreseeing things is that I do believe that we have thousands, if not millions, of scenarios that can play in the same time. So I've
Yes.
learned it the hard way, because I do got visions, and a lot of people were telling me about a specific person, that this is the one, this is my person. It was tens of people saying that, and then it didn't turn out to be like that. Now, is the vision wrong? Did they see things wrong? No. Everybody has free will. I believe in free will. I believe in your free will. I believe in mine. And when we
Yes.
co-work together, whatever happens in your world, whatever happens in my world, whatever happens in her clients. Now, this is not one sole person doing something. It's dozens, if not more, souls, free wills involved into something. I do believe this is based on quite of like a matrix type of existence, where literally it's like there's so many options that can play out.
Yes.
So what I believe and what you did is you did see the correct number. That number was a possibility that existed, and it could have played out, but then everybody was like putting different pieces, and then it turned out it's almost like a meal. So when Gordon Ramsay has his book, and then me and you, we go to cook it together, it's very possible that it doesn't turn out like in the book, because you're
Yes,
not Gordon
exactly.
Ramsay.
And also, it is you have to be really careful as someone who has a mentor or a coach, that you don't turn into a mini me of that person. This is something, and this goes out to all the coaches and mentors, because you cannot copy a style or model a style or a strategy from someone else, because that's just not going to work. It's not how business works. You can get taught certain things, but you cannot copy the words or the look or the visuals, or
Not in
can't
our
copy that.
industry. It's not like Coke and
No,
Pepsi. We can even see
no.
what Coke and Pepsi trying to copy Coke, and it's not Coke, it's Pepsi. It's a different thing.
Yes, and it is very important that if you want to go high ticket, if you want to go high quality luxe clientele, you need to be yourself, and you need to dig out your very own thing. And it doesn't absolutely make any sense if every spiritual teacher is using the same wording, because then you are not addressing the people who need different words in order to open up. So this is so important, that you find your own word, your own story, your own you, and then you can build up on that.
I agree with you. And I think it's also the reason why high ticket clients are attracted to that, is because they do look for their own unique version. And so you mimic that as you already find it, they see it in you and they want it for themselves. This is what happens with my clients. I'm very happy you brought this up, because what I hear from coaches, mentors who come into my world, because I do have high ticket clients who are not in this industry, so they don't specifically look into that. But when people come, they say, well, I want to be me, just like you are so you. And so I do believe that this is such a powerful thing to realize. And it's again coming back to us, instead of going outside of us and looking for, or is it something else outside of me that I need to change, where it's actually you
Yes.
feeling very comfortable with yourself. And I think that when you're comfortable with yourself, you're comfortable with money and wanting a lot of money and feeling good around it.
Yes, exactly. And you have to own a few things. Like you have to own your integrity, you have to own your mistakes, your errors. You have to know, okay, that idea that I had, that didn't work out that well, that wasn't good. Like I just said, I had the vision and I should have kept it to myself. Because it was about a number, and money. Shouldn't have said that, because that sounded like a promise. So yeah, there was I own my mistakes, and this is what people just have to do. And the social media world is all about being glossy and glamorous, and the great lifestyle and everything, but also you need to tell the stories in a very true way.
I think we're entering an era where people do want that, and they are becoming very tapped to the truth. I was reading somewhere a couple of days ago that with getting into the age of Aquarius, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're entering the age of Aquarius.
I thought we'd already entered it ages ago, years ago. I don't know.
Yes, so I stand to be corrected. I don't really follow that, but we are entering a new era of a new zodiac sign. What I was reading, that what is very specific about that era is the truth. And no wonder why so many things are popping out. I mean, I don't know if you saw, but 2023, there was so much exposure of so many hidden things, even in Hollywood, where you don't know what's true and what's not true in Hollywood, honestly. But there were so many things coming out, so many celebrities speaking out, coming out and saying, this is what really is happening.
Completely, yes.
Just the truth is being stripped. And I think that more and more people see through BS. They feel it. When people say there's something off about this person, but I don't know what is it? And in our industry specifically, I think that more and more people are coming out and they're saying there's something about this person which is off, and I don't want to work with this person. So I do think that women, and not only women, but men who are listening to us as well, that if you want to attract conscious wealth, it is so important to speak your truth. So, Katja, what do you recommend for your clients and also for people? How do you speak your truth? How do you do that?
Well, I work with a higher self, and the higher self, our soul, our frequency, our energy is always containing the truth and the true information, the true intention. So when we get really still and really quiet, and we connect to our higher self by saying, I'm connected to my higher self. And then we can close our eyes and we can go in the area behind our eyes, where the infinity dark is. And there's a lot of information hidden there. You just have to become really still. And you have to take those little impulses that pop up and follow them. And then you get to know a little bit about your own history, your own story, and you will reveal a few details about your story that you haven't discovered yet. And that might be a little unraveling. How do you say? It might be a little weird for you and feel uncomfortable. And you might don't want to look at it. But here, there's a big gift hidden. And then you start talking about that. And it's not that you need to soul strip online and on social media. But, when I see a lot of posts, that's why I work with copywriting as well, and with words and the choice of words. There are so many posts that are so insecure and careful. The women who are posting that, they are so careful and so cautious. And when you are careful and cautious, it reveals that you are insecure in a way, that you are not in your full leadership, not in your full authority of your topic. And when I work with these women and or now gentlemen too, but when I work with these people and they send me screenshots of their posts, and I start to cross out with my red pen.
Yeah.
They say, yeah, but when I cross that out, when I leave that out, there's no explanation for it. Yeah, and there's no explanation. That means that you need to dare to have people ask questions. So you don't put everything out there, not all the explanation, not all the examples for what you just stated, but you leave room for imagination, and maybe you're being misunderstood. And people don't want to be misunderstood. They want everything laid out nicely. So there's no question, and then you buy. No, it's not going to happen like that.
Or there's no criticism.
There's no criticism.
They don't want to be criticized. Yes.
Yeah, exactly, because they don't want to be misunderstood, and they don't want to defend themselves and explain themselves. So this is where we go when I work with the words, with the posts, with the copywriting. It reveals so much. Or when you make a bold statement, those colorful, with a colorful background, bold statement, and then you make a wink emoji.
Yes.
And I say, cross that emoji out, because
you're
taking out the spice.
Yeah.
You're taking out the spice. What's wrong? Let it sit there and take the fire for that. Go through it.
I remember 2-3 years ago when I was working with my previous business partner, and I'm very direct in my conversation and my communications, and it's part of my culture as well, but I do believe it's a lot of different reasons that create this, just being super direct. And she would always say, just add an emoji, it will make things softer. And I'm like, I don't want to add an emoji. I don't want to be like, wink, wink, smile, smile. No, I said what I said. It has to come across. And if you project, so for example, I might not mean it in that way, but if you read it with my tone and my accent in an angry way, it's you. It's not really me. So I agree so much with you on that. I also teach people that don't use these phrases. Have you noticed how women use, I'm just stepping here just to tell you da 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 da, or oh, I hate the just word, or actually word, or my least favorite, and I just can't stand it when I hear people saying that. And I had a conversation with a client that we just started a couple of days ago, and I counted it, she said it 7 times, and I called her out. It was, do I make sense?
Yes.
And I was like, you don't need to, you think, and I asked her, do you think you don't make sense right now? She was like, no, I think it was pretty clear. And I'm like, so why are you asking me, do I not make sense? Do you think you sound unclear? Do you think that you're not good enough to tell me things in a way that I can understand them? Or do you think that I'm stupid and I don't understand it? So you're so right. There's so many small things. And again, we said with love, no judgment, because we're all on our journeys and we all do feel insecure in some way or another. I'm very sure that we all have our little things that come up.
Yes.
Some people are more advanced in their journey and some people are on the journey, and that's beautiful as well. We respect that and we tolerate it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Absolutely. It's just a matter of consciousness, and it's just a matter of, what you observe online, what you see, and what you can maybe sense. And when someone is doing the most beautiful posts with the most beautiful content, and I read it and I know this person is struggling to get clients and she has lots of capacity for more clients, and I would just love to tell her, cross that out. They're not coming.
this
you
is
know,
so funny because I was just going to quote that I saw someone saying that your posts make me know exactly what's happening in your world. And that might have been you. I might have seen it, you posting or sharing that, because I did see somebody sharing that from your posts, what you share, I can see that exactly something similar. You don't have enough clients or you're not where you claim you are. It was something along the lines. I'm not sure if it was you. It could have been you.
it could have been, yeah.
It could have
Sounds, yeah.
sounds like you. Sounds like you. So
Yeah.
it could have been you. But I do feel the same thing. So very often when I read things, I read it and then I think, is this truthfully you calling out somebody? Or is it you being extremely insecure and you're just coming here and that's what's happening? So what truly is going on here? But again, with no judgment, we just
Yeah, but also social media has been a platform for meeting friends and for showing pictures, and it has been very private for such a long time. So people, when they start to use it as a business model and as your advertising platform, sometimes it's really hard to make that shift and to just know, okay, this post is just not for my friends from school. This post is not for my family. This post is not for my neighbors. This is just for my future clients. It's not even for my colleagues. They will know what I post. They know, they've read it years ago, but this is for my new clients. And really to get detached, and it's not always about you. And this is also something that I tell my clients, hey, when you post something about you, it is, in the end, it's not about you. It's not,
I
you
agree.
don't want to be you don't want to be belittled, you don't want to be counseled or whatever. You just want to show your journey, which is cool, but don't make it about you. It's not that interesting, when you use it as a business model, and to get this detachment from that and to see it from a larger perspective and to see, oh, okay, this was my tiny little me trying to get some attention, to get my head patted or something, or get some more likes. It's different. So you really have to grow into maturity and your authority and into your self-confidence when posting, and when you want to really attract high quality luxury clientele.
I love that. I agree 100% with that. That's so on spot. I want to wrap up this conversation, and I really don't want to do that because I love having conversations with you, but I want to wrap it
We'll
up
do
with
that again.
I want to wrap it up with something. If you like to share something, anything that you want to add that probably we've missed, is there anything that comes up?
I just want to really point out that that numbers are prices, not promises. High ticket is not a bad thing. It's just a matter of taste. And it just shows where you are positioned, and if that matches the client's position. If not, then not. And really the real truth is really behind your eyes, in the infinite space behind your eyes, and you can just go in there and pick up all the information you need, and then it's going to be true.
Receiving all of this wisdom. Thank you so much, Katja, for sharing all this. That was very beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you for having this powerful conversation. If anybody, and I know that a lot of people would want to connect with you, all of the information to connect with you will be in the description or in the comments below. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to experience Katja's magic, please do connect with her. She's such an amazing woman, and I love her to bits.
So sweet.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
being
much.
with
Thank you
us.
so much. Ayo, you are wonderful. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
having me.
I appreciate you so much.